So I am assuming that you love this strategy.
This is an easy call, Skip.
Right.
I mean, this is a schedule loss. You just coming from home, traveling to Milwaukee, changing time zones. Milwaukee's playing well. You looking at the schedule and like, look, oh, we got Milwaukee, Memphis. We got to get that. Indiana, that's a dogfight.
Yep.
Brooklyn, Toronto, Washington, they should win those. So they looking like they strategically planning this. Hey, guys, we could go 4-on-2 in this trip. So why would we waste all our energy on Milwaukee when we can say, all right, we got to get Memphis, dogfight Indiana, Brooklyn, Toronto, Washington, we should win. So this is an easy call. This is what teams do when it's a long season. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you like, look, let's get these ones we know we can get. So why waste all the energy on Milwaukee? Even if you do beat Milwaukee and then you got a back-to-back, say you lose to Memphis by playing everybody, it makes it a wash anyway. So you just got to say, look, schedule loss, we'll take that one. Get Memphis, dogfight Indiana, and beat the rest. 4-2 is a good trip, guys. We go home and we good.
I guess I could come over to your side and think about it that way, but I also think about it as you're going up on the road to play a top-notch team that you now have to show, okay, we can play against these dogs. Even though you're saying to me, we won't see Milwaukee unless we both get to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, we don't have
but I still need to be able to see, can AD and LeBron do this against Dame Lillard and Giannis and that crew that's at full strength?
It's only important to do this in the playoffs. Why waste all of that versus Milwaukee? We don't.
I would just think that you would want to take care of business and then rest some of those dudes against Memphis so you have them ready to go against the Pacers.
No, rest them versus Milwaukee. They not getting Milwaukee in Milwaukee.
But why would I rest them against Milwaukee?
Because you got to make sure you get Memphis, Brooklyn, Toronto, Washington.
But you don't think they can get Memphis with a half?
It's a back-to-back. It's a back-to-back.
But I'm saying,
you got to start worried about LeBron minutes.
But I'm saying, if LeBron and AD, or LeBron or AD, whoever, decide to sit against Memphis, you don't think they're good enough to get Memphis?
They can't get Memphis, so then it make it a wash anyway. But if they sit Milwaukee and they play Memphis, they for sure get that with them healthy. So.
All right, Paul Pierce, you just said it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
I think we just hit sprint stage because there are 11 games left, and this team has teetered along all year long until it's driven you and I to craziness every day in the show. Okay, so finally they've won 5 out of 7, have the Lakers. Finally, they've actually won 3 in a row and looked decent doing it. All of a sudden, as you pointed out yesterday, you get a measuring stick here where you get to go up to Milwaukee and say, hey, okay, look, we're on a little bit of a roll here. Let's see what we got. Let's test ourselves. And I don't even care about potential NBA finals. I just care about let's create and build more momentum, because if you could go in there and beat these guys at the top of their game as they start to take off, you could say, hey, we got something going here. Then you would have to figure out, with no LeBron for the next night, maybe AD would play. I've seen this team go to Boston with no AD and no LeBron and blow out the Celtics when Austin Reeves turned into Larry Bird and scored 32 points. I've seen that happen. So it's not inconceivable they could get both of them. Your logic is standard conservative sort of NBA logic, and I got it. But this isn't a standard conservative Lakers year. It's been a bizarre up-and-down roller coaster ride of a year, and all of a sudden it's starting to, the compass is pointing north with 11 games to go, and this team still hangs in there in the 9 spot. And now I got to talk about what Phoenix is not doing, because Phoenix is in big trouble right now. So if you look up the standings at Phoenix, you're only, or you're a game and a half back of Phoenix. You're 2.5. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2.5 and 3 back of Sacramento and Dallas. Well, Phoenix is catchable because Phoenix has the most hellacious closing sprint of a schedule I have ever. I just don't remember anything like this.
I would think the Lakers would want to get to the 8th spot.
Yeah.
But what's realistic with this? Look at it. This 6 games on the road, 6 games out east. What's realistic? 4-2, no matter how you get it. 4-2 is a great trip.
Okay.
That's a great trip.
Yeah,
so
okay,
it don't matter
it
how
is,
you get it.
but this is the closing sprint. This is the closing rush where, what if you, I don't know, dare I say, what if you won out? What if you just got on a roll where you went like Houston, Dallas crazy? They're both on fire right now. Okay? Why couldn't you get on fire? Why couldn't you sweep this road trip?
They just beat Milwaukee without LeBron.
Okay,
They did.
You did.
D'Lo went for 40.
He went for 44.
So that's a possibility that they can beat them.
Okay.
They showed they could without LeBron. So they looking like, hey, this is a jump ball right here. If we get this, we get it. We don't. But maybe we can because we just got them. You know, let's get our role players some confidence. Let Dinwiddie come in there, play. Let D'Lo get back out there.
Dinwiddie blocked Dame's shot to win the game against Milwaukee before.
Austin, Larry Bird, Reeves go out there and ball. And we'll definitely get Memphis.
Okay, I don't like your chances tonight against a Milwaukee team that's still smarting from what you did to them because you know and I know they're going to say, watch this.
For Milwaukee, they're at home now. Now you say, Paul, right, you say, well, at this point during the season, you want to rest LeBron and you want to do some of those things. I'll fast forward and get out of the road trip and come back home. You got 3 games in 4 nights. You got Cleveland, Minnesota, and Golden State.
Right.
You got to have those games as well. You got to have those games. So what do you do when you come up on these back-to-backs against Cleveland, Minnesota, and then one night off, and you got Golden State? Do you rest him again?
No. I think this is a trip. Based on these teams that I'm seeing, they're not going to lose to Brooklyn. You can play LeBron 28 minutes, they should win.
All right.
Toronto, same, 25 minutes. He can get rest on this trip, and they can go 4-2. Now he's rested when they come home because you can't just keep playing the man 35, 40 minutes going into the playoffs. This is a trip where they could actually win 4 games, rest LeBron, then come home. Then if you need to play him bigger minutes down the stretch, you can do that. But I think you got to manage his minutes right now coming down the stretch. So he's at least somewhat fresh going into the playoffs.
And that has driven me crazy all year. To your point, we went into this year just like we went into the year before and the year before with them talking about, we're going to manage LeBron's minutes. He's going to be smart about this. He's going to be fresh for the playoff run. Right now, he's averaging 35.2 minutes per game. Guess what that ranks? That's 5th in the NBA. That's just craziness to me. And to your point, you've talked about him being something of a ball hog and more of a stat machine. Well, he's gotten his stats. He went past 40,000. He's building them up. We get all that. And you've accomplished that. But what is that? Do you care about winning? Do you care about a stretch run? Because you're in a position now where you're averaging so many minutes that you do need to rest before the playoffs.
So Skip just mentioned stretch run, right? In the NFL, you want to play your best ball going into the playoffs. That's just what you want to do. You don't want to be teetering along. Is that not the same in the NBA?
But this is different. This is you're coaching LeBron. He's been in deep playoff runs. He understands the moment. Like he knows how to turn it on and turn it off. So you don't need to do that with him.
So you're saying seeding doesn't matter.
Seeding won't matter for the Lakers. They showed that last year. They was able to get to the conference finals. Yeah, they got swept. But the most important thing for the Lakers is just being healthy getting to the playoffs. They don't care about home court.
Okay,
they just want to be healthy.
So your mind has changed then from last week.
No, there's certain teams you need playing well.
But but I'm saying you said that the Lakers wouldn't win a series. They probably wouldn't be able to beat Golden State. So I'm saying you change your mind now aware the way they've been playing that they can win a series? They can beat a Golden State?
I think based on the matchup. Golden State.
It could be Golden State or Houston.
I don't even know.
Hell, it could be the Suns.
Golden State is doing lately. I mean, they've had some bad losses.
Let's go deeper into the Suns. Okay, so last night they have a game at San Antonio, and there's no Wembanyama. You have to win that game because you're about to go on a death march of a closing schedule. And instead, they jack around and mess around, and all of a sudden I look up, and wait a second. The Spurs are ahead by 2 at home, and I think we have the last 2 shots. KD and Book both get shots at it to win the game. They each get a 3, a fairly open look. This is KD, fairly good look.
That's a shot he can hit.
Yeah, he can definitely hit that. And then they get the offensive rebound, and they kick it back to KD, who kicks it back to Book, who gets he made that shot. I know he fell down trying to beg for the foul call. Yeah. But the point is, they got 2 pretty good looks, and they missed them. So now they have 3 great scorers, and they don't have a head to the horseman. They don't have a point guard. I still think they miss Chris Paul. That's just me. I'd rather have Chris Paul running the show than Bradley Beal as a third scorer. That's just me. I thought they were better last year. But let's look at this closing schedule. I've just never seen anything quite like this before. Do we have the... I'm going to read it.
They didn't get anything out of Bradley Beal and Grayson Allen.
All right, so here's now look what Phoenix has to deal with. They have to go to Denver, go to Oklahoma City, go to New Orleans. They go home for Cleveland. Ooh. That's no walk in the park. Then Minnesota, then New Orleans at home, then Clippers at home, then at Clippers, then at Sac, and then at Minnesota. And I don't know who'll be resting who at that point, but still, it's just a brutal close. I mean, theoretically, you could lose.
The next 10 games against all playoff teams.
All playoff. I mean, you could get on a negative roll. You could just about lose every one of those games.
Y'all know that they're going to do that.
No, but I'm just saying they're all losable kind of games.
Yes, they are. They are losable games.
Yeah, there's not a Brooklyn in there. There's not a Toronto where you say, well, they got that one, right? There's not an Orlando. There's not a Charlotte. That's it. Okay, so so the Lakers sit 2.5 games back of them. Could the Lakers catch and pass them? Absolutely.
100%.
Okay, now look, one more slot ahead at only 3 games ahead of the Lakers are the Kings. The Kings own the Lakers, but the Kings don't own themselves because at home, I'm going to give you recent home losses the Kings have suffered because they're a weird team, man, because they can just punish the Lakers. But at home, they have lost within the last month, they lost to the Knicks, the Rockets, the Bulls, Miami, and Detroit. They've lost at home to those teams. And even Miami hadn't been playing great. They've been up and down. So my point is it possible the Kings would lose 2 or 3 that you weren't expecting, and all of a sudden the Lakers would say, oh, we could pass them?
But see, that's why I say what I say, Paul, when you start to think about what Skip is saying, why LeBron, if he could play, should be playing, because these games are so important down the stretch. You would certainly like to have a 6th seed, the 7th seed versus the 9th or the 10th seed.
But so do I play them in back-to-backs this late in the season?
But no, you don't have to play. You can play Milwaukee and rest him against Memphis, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you're saying rest him versus Memphis, knowing that they can still beat them without LeBron?
I think they can still beat him without LeBron.
You think. But if LeBron plays, you know they can beat him. You know they can beat him, right?
Yeah, but
so let's take the gimme. Let's take the gimme.
Okay, play him a little bit then against Memphis in the back-to-back.
No.
I think he should play. I think he should play against Milwaukee if he
when I look at the Western Conference, this is going to come down to matchups. Like, this is so wide open in the Western Conference. I think, like, based on matchups, like you say, the Lakers can't probably beat the Kings in the 7-game series, but they can probably beat Dallas or Oklahoma City or even Minnesota. So I think down the stretch, you're going to see a lot of teetering down there to where they might take a loss to get a certain matchup.
Maybe.
If they can make it, they can actually push to that 7th slot. And if I'm the Lakers, I'm going to actually try to push to the 7th slot, and that's why I'm going to rest on the front end of this. And then down the stretch, I'm gonna play my guys down the stretch. Because I can see the Lakers.
7 plays who, though, as it stands right now?
I'm gonna push down the stretch, though. They can. If I'm the Lakers, I'm targeting the 7th spot. If I'm the Lakers, because you get a young, inexperienced team up there at the top. Avoid Denver. You gotta try to avoid Denver at all costs, and Sacramento, and that's about it for the Lakers. Everybody else, they could be in a dogfight and eventually win a first-round series.
Okay, but how much would it help to get out of the play-in madness? Just get free of it.
They want to get out of that. They want to if they can. If they can make a push for it, they should make a push for it.
Okay, so why wouldn't you start tonight? I don't get it. Now, and again, just for the record, LeBron played 38 minutes against Indiana and played the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. So it's not like he turned his ankle, although it's chronic. It just plagues him. So is it plaguing him more? Is it possible he's actually hurt, where he just said, I just can't go at Milwaukee? It smells like they're just going to rest him for Milwaukee, which was your first guess yesterday, right?
Yep. I mean, it just makes the most sense when you look at it.
But questionable doesn't mean he's not going to play.
Doubtful. He's doubtful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's doubtful?
Doubtful. So that's pretty doubtful. That's like...
I mean, they only have
Keyshawn, that's why
rest.
that spread is 8.5 points, which is ridiculously high.
They only have 1 day rest from Sunday. And then you got to go to Milwaukee, time change, a team that's playing well. Why burn all this energy out in this game when you know Milwaukee's going to beat them? That's money in the bank. you can bet it Milwaukee is getting the Lakers.
Maybe
Memphis,
Milwaukee
look at, they could potentially go 5-1. Indiana's going to be a dogfight. I'm going to play them all the rest of the games. I don't even have to play them all the rest of the games. Look at this.
The way Indiana
you sit them in Milwaukee. No, look though. You sit them in Milwaukee. You play them in Memphis. Y'all should blow Memphis out. And then you play them in Indiana. You could possibly sit them in the last 2 games, Toronto and Washington. They should beat them without LeBron. So you should go for it. They can possibly be 5-1, which is a great trip.
So, Paul, you don't want to find out what you're made of tonight at Milwaukee?
We know what they're made of. We know they can beat anybody on any given night. They can lose to anybody.
Which was LeBron's classic line of a month ago.
All right, so we got to figure a number of things in. Health, rest, lowering the minutes, and saving it for down the stretch going into the playoffs.
Okay, so what do you see in the Suns or not see in the Suns as we speak?
They a hard team to figure out, Skip, because I look, they got 2 top 10 players in the Western Conference. Would you agree that KD and Booker are 2 of the top 10 players in the Western Conference?
Yeah. Bradley Beal ain't far behind when he plays.
Just in the Western Conference. But to me, it's just like I can't figure them out. You know, they can get hot. They both can score 30, and they lose, and they make a good win. They get a good win, and then they have a bad loss like last night. I think this team is more built for the playoffs when I look at them. When the game slows down and you got 2 players who are outstanding on offense who can just dominate a game on any given night, and you put them in a 7-game series, they'll be tough to bet against, because before the season started, I had them going to the finals.
Me too.
Based on their roster, when they got Bradley Beal, everybody was like, oh, look at this is a squad.
Yeah.
So I look at them as a playoff kind of built team. Regular season, they struggle against younger teams, athletic. You know, teams that swinging the ball, making extra passes. They don't want to deal with all that in the regular season. They just got to get to the playoffs. When the game slows down, I can see them really playing well. So, but they just been hard to figure out in the regular season.
All right. Ditto the Clippers, who lost at home last night to the team that the Lakers had handled the night before, the Indiana Pacers, playing back-to-back. The Pacers had to play a bunch of kids last night who didn't even play against the Lakers, and they just punished the Clippers at home, and it wasn't even close. All right? So can you make the case back to me that they have veteran players who just don't even care? They're just waiting to tell us when it starts. Tell us.
I don't know, because to me, I really put some thought into this, and I'm like, it just seems like the Clippers are taking on James Harden's personality.
They are. I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought that from the start, and I agree with that.
It's up and down. You know how James can be. Yeah. He'll go into a series, and it's been true in Houston, where he'll have a 40-point game, then come back and not play so well, and then play well. And that's what I've seen from the Clippers.
Against your Celtics last year, he scored 45 in Game 1 and 42 in Game 4, and go look at all the rest of it.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what we've seen from the Clippers. Yeah. When he first got there, they stunk. 6-game losing streak. Then right after that, 6-game winning streak. They won 10 out of the next 12. And then after All-Star break, they're back to where they started. And that's who James has been. And I don't know if I don't know. I can't put a finger. Ty Lue calls him soft, and Paul George says, we don't have an identity.
No.
Like, how do you not have an identity this late in the season? And that's why I'm worried about the Clippers. They're so up and down that I don't know which way to go with them. They can, just like the Lakers, they can beat anybody or lose to anybody.
I'm trying to frame the Lakers right now by showing you, look what's happened to Clippers, look at the Suns, and it's not over for the Lakers. We struggle with them all. That's what I'm saying. If they catch a little bit of fire and get a little bit of momentum,
the schedule certainly favors the Lakers to pull into a higher seeding.
It does.
If they play it right. They got to play it right, though.
They got to play it right.
They can't mess around with these Memphises and Brooklyns and Toronto. They can't just be showing up just because we know we can beat them. This is why I feel like if he can play, he should play against Milwaukee. He shouldn't sit if he can play. That's just how I feel.
This is strategic.
But I may be wrong. I mean, I may be wrong. Because the last 5 games of the season, except at Memphis, you got Cleveland, Minnesota, Golden State, and New Orleans. Now, maybe New Orleans is saying, okay, we're done. We don't need to because last game of the season, whatever the case is. But you still got them Clevelands in between and them Golden States that's sitting right there. And the Minnesotas, they want to play too. They want to try to have their seeding in place.
Yeah.
It just depends on whether or not we go and be that team like LeBron says, lose one night, beat anybody we can the next night, and then lose again? Are we going to be that team and show up that way? If we do, then we will be talking about something different come playoff time.
Yeah. Well, maybe D'Lo goes for 44 tonight
They
at
just
Milwaukee.
beat Milwaukee.
Right?
I'm comfortable with sitting LeBron. We just beat him without him. Why not?
Yeah, but Milwaukee
Why
lost
not?
to was it Golden State or Sacramento before they lost to the Lakers? They rode that road
Sacramento.
trip. Sacramento. That road trip was nasty for them.
It was nasty. All right, enough NBA for the moment. We'll get back to it soon. But thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.